DDG episode 245. My name is Dave, and I'm joined by Michael.
Dave, it's finally time. We have a new console to talk about. It's been a while. We launched this podcast basically with a new console, kind of. And now we are here ready to bring news of the Switch 2. I'm excited. It's been a while.
Yeah, it has. So we're going to get some of the basic stuff out of the way super quick today. This is going to be an exclusive Nintendo Switch 2 Nintendo event or podcast. Like, we're not really going to do anything else. So if you're watching us live on Twitch, twitch.tv/digitaldaysgaming, youtube.com/digitaldaysgaming, podcast services, if you're listening to us on any of those, please consider subscribing, please consider sharing. If you have any friends that are interested in the Switch, like, this is a great introduction to us. If they are, we're going to go over some stuff, we're going to give our opinions. If they're on, have questions about the Switch, we're going to see if we can answer some of them or anything. But, you know, just might be a nice opportunity. Hey, these guys are talking about the Switch 2. It comes out in 2 months. Listen to them, check it out, see if you like it. They do a bunch of other stuff. So if you can do that, please consider. So everything else is linked in the show notes. Discord, Facebook, all that stuff is in the show notes, or digitaldaysgaming.com. And we're going to kick it off right now.
Yeah, so we had a early morning Switch Direct, or Switch 2 Direct. So Nintendo doing this, I love that they do the Directs early. I don't really like the 4 o'clock. But like, PlayStation does 4, Xbox does noon. The Xbox one's in a weird part of the day where it's like people are working. This one, you can start your day with some Nintendo news depending on what coast you're on. I broke this down. I'm using Game Reactor's website, and then also I kind of broke it down into specific things that we should hit on. The important thing first, the Nintendo Switch 2 is launching June 5th and will retail for $449.99 for just the console, and $499.99 with Mario Kart World bundled in. Pre-orders begin April 9th. Dave, we said this was a possibility last week that we're gonna get a summer thing. Everything was pointing to it. How do you feel?
I'm fine. Like, I think the date is fine. June is a really good time, I think. Great opportunity, as we'll go through some of this stuff, like going right into Summer Game Fest, like get it out, and then the hardware's out, and then just fling the games. And they flung the games today, as well as last week. The price. So here's the deal. Like, I'm talking about this from two ends, okay? I have Owen will be 10 in August. Like, this is a must-have. Like, no matter what. Like, this is a must-have with everything that they announced and all the things that are attached to it. Like, this is a must-have piece of hardware. A $500 or $450 Nintendo console is steep. However, this is repercussions of this has to be tariff driven. It has to be tariff driven. This is probably a $400 or $350 console that is being driven up 25 to 35% because it's coming from overseas. It has to.
Well, so before, someone chews your head off and be like, they're not affected by this. Companies will take advantage of the fact that tariffs are happening, and they can use that as an excuse.
This is not assembled in the United States. I'm sorry, but this is not assembled in the United States. Or, I'm sorry, it might be assembled in the United States, but these parts are not made in the United States.
Vietnam, I believe, is where Nintendo gets their stuff. And I think Vietnam did agree to remove some tariffs, so they are unaffected. But that doesn't mean a company can't just say tariffs and get away with it, because us as U.S. consumers are already expecting everything to increase in price. So, between inflation and the fact that tariffs are coming, and most people don't know who's getting tariffed and who's not getting tariffed.
Well, and I think
you can take advantage of it if you're a company.
I think the fact that you saw a lot of stuff on the Direct that was like, this comes out the same day Switch 2 comes out. This comes out, and the same day Switch 2 comes out. Like, I think that this was recorded a long time ago, like probably more than 90 days. Maybe some other stuff inserted into it, but roughly it was recorded.
The Nintendo portions, were definitely recorded ahead of time.
And with some other stuff edited, and they didn't that's why I don't think they ever said the date in any of the coming when the Switch 2 launches. Like, no, they never said June 5th except for one little clip.
They said it twice, in the beginning and then
right, but not in any of the presentations, or not when they were talking about it. Like when they were talking about the chat functionality, and we'll get into all that. But there was just a lot of things, even the other developers, the third-party developers. This is like the Split Fiction thing. This is coming out the day the Switch 2 launches.
I think those were specific. Like, they didn't know what day it's going to be.
Yeah.
Nintendo did directly say June 5th during the stream, but there's a reason they didn't say the price at all. And I think that's the key thing you should focus in on. So. The price wasn't included because, one, They probably didn't know the price when they were doing the presentation, like recording all this.
Yeah.
And two, they were probably trying to wait on information just to see. There's a chance, just like with the, like the rumors with the PS4 launch or the PS4 announcement, that they had an original price and then they're like, actually, can we drop the price more and then just throw it up on a slide during the presentation? There was probably like a button with like 2 different prices on it, and they picked the $449 $500 bundle.
So, I mean, however, at its core, this is a 1080p 120 frame 4K-ish device, which, I mean, we can get into a little bit of that as you've got the hardware details as the next bullet point here, but I was actually pretty surprised by the punch that was in this. Like, we all kind of thought like this is going to be a PS4 Pro-ish device.
It's kind of there.
Yeah. So, but like the screen getting bigger, like almost like an inch and a half, right?
Yeah, something like that. It's like
an inch and a half, a full 1080p display with HDR, 120 up to 120 frames.
The resolution does drop to 720p in handheld mode if you do 120 frames per second.
Cool. We talked about this. Like, you're holding a 7.9 inch screen. Like, you don't need it to be 1080p. Like,
but
however,
it's nice that it is,
Right. However, putting it on your big screen TV, it should feel different. And that's what it sounds like it's going to do.
While it's docked, it's going to go up to 4K, 60 frames, 60 frames. And then it can do 120 frames at 1080p when it is docked. The dock does have extra cooling because it is running some extra hardware. And I don't know if you've ever noticed how hot the Switch does get on the regular dock that barely does any extra computing. But I would imagine what they're trying to do with this dock is going to get super warm, so extra cooling is appreciated.
I really want to give them kudos for being like upfront about like, hey, like this is going to work, this is not going to work, this, and I feel like at the presentation, similar, like where they said these SD cards work, these do not. Like, and I give them credit. Like usually other companies, certain things like that would be kind of buried in a blog post or would come out later in an interview with a proper journalist asking questions. So there's definitely like, I do like that. And I'm going to kind of go through some of the bullet points here. Like the 2 USB-C ports, the built-in microphone on the Switch itself can do voice chat, both docked and undocked. I don't necessarily believe in this noise canceling software that they're touting. I'd have to see it live.
Especially for like, I can understand it works in handheld mode pretty well, but the thing that they showed of the person on the couch, like a good 6+ feet away from it, I question how that's going to go.
Yeah, I love the port on top. Like I think
the fact that there's 2 ports is
like that's a huge thing. The fact that it's apparently the same thickness, I think, is a win. The 256 gigs of internal storage is a little concerning. However, you can still, the Switch games aren't that. Switch 2 games I mean, I don't even know, I guess, but Switch games typically have not been that large.
First party.
First, yes. So, and only compatible with micro SD express cards to expand storage, like we talked about. And then
which I looked up today.
Okay. Yep.
A 256 micro SD express card on Amazon, I think, was like $70.
That's not bad. So
that's not terrible.
Yeah. And then as they get into some of the transparency with the physical games, so the Switch 2 can both play Switch 1 and Switch 2 games. Awesome. That's what we assumed. Switch 2 cartridges will be read and have faster read speeds, but some games will be ship on key card cartridges which don't have the game on the card, but as an authenticator to play the digital version, this card must be kept in the system to play the digital version of the game.
This is one of the 2 things that people were freaking the fuck out about.
But if you go to a store and buy it, like a lot of the collectors and similar to you want the case, you want the cartridge, but they're not, like, again, potentially publishing cost or how much it costs to get this game on the cartridge, or is there a possibility that the game cannot fit on the cartridge?
That's basically what this is going to be. This is in every game, so you will see. Yeah. They already showed the box art for what it's going to look like. Yeah. It's just going to say at the bottom. Before it was like, you're just buying a code in a box. It's a digital code. There's no game in it. This is going to say this is a key card. You will need to download the game, and the card is just an authenticator. So not every game is going to be on this. There are games that will be on an actual game card, so this isn't killing physical media. CD Projekt Red on Twitter already said Cyberpunk 2077 is going to ship on a 64 gig card. not a key card, an actual
Right.
64 gig cartridge. So that is a
Which
big
is
game.
1/4 of your internal storage,
Yes,
built-in storage.
So thank God they're going to put it on a physical card, and you're not going to have to worry about it. So
Right.
like physical games are looking pretty good, though I don't think they did a good job actually explaining the card stuff, because I was following along live on Twitter and Reddit, and people were fucking panicking when this was introduced. Like they should have.
I think this is a little bit of a nothing burger, but maybe they didn't explain it well, or
Basically.
cohesively. So, and then the game chat and share. So we were always like, what's the C button going to be? The C is for chat. And I honestly feel like they just stole, like, I don't know, like based on looking at this today when I watched this, the YouTube replay, I think they took somebody from Discord. Like, I think they hired somebody from Discord. It looks like Discord.
But also, they didn't have enough resources or power to properly run Discord.
Yeah. So the controller will have the C button. The C is for chat. Ability to have game chat and screen share with 3 other users. Can expand and see other players' screen in chat. Discord already does that.
But here's a key with that before you jump to the next thing. I appreciate how upfront they were during this to show you how shitty that screen share of the other people's screens is going to be.
Yep.
We were seeing footage of games running at like 10 frames per second. So it's not to like sit there and enjoy the stream. It's just so you can kind of keep an eye on what your buddy's doing.
Yeah, I am lost. I don't understand this puzzle. Help me out. Okay, go to your
here.
left. Yeah. I mean, that kind of stuff. I mean, I don't think the Discord, the little bit that I've messed with it with people, is super high resolution anyways, but a lot of times I'm on my PC.
This.
Yes, it is better. I'm on my PC. And those things, I think that the ability for it to be there is kind of cool. And I think this is something that probably in the room, like the Nintendo board, didn't want to go to this extent. But then I think the focus groups are saying, like, what do you mean I can't talk to my friends? Like, what do you mean I have to use it? Like, this is like an inevitable, like, we have to do this. Like, this is what the gamers expect. This is what, if we're going to, like, still go after a hardcore gaming audience, like, this is what they expect. So
especially if you don't want to do the partnership with Discord or something
correct.
like that. You're
so
like,
to your point, they went like, okay, how low can we go and get away with this? So, and, you know, like, and this is still a PS4-ish system. So, like, PS4 could do the voice chat thing, it could do the share play. It didn't run funky well, but this is just repackaged share play and a repackaged Discord.
But again, a lesser version of that for whatever reason.
Yep.
I was hoping,
Because they don't care.
They don't care, but I was really hoping, but I understand why, if it is a feature, they wouldn't bring it up. But I would hope in docked it runs a little bit better. In terms of your visual on it, but then again, it has to take an account for who's handheld and who's not.
I think some of it's going to do with people's internet and, you know, a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And a lot of times we've seen them like use, you know, Japan as the focus, and Japan's internet is, my understanding is Japan's internet is like phenomenal.
Most other countries tend to be
Yeah.
pretty well. But again, I do appreciate they were actually honest about how it's going to look by showing us.
They
like
zoomed
10
in on
frames.
purpose and said, "This is what this looks like." Like they
even
zoomed
showed
in.
like the bad bit rate when they zoomed in on it, and then like you saw like how choppy it was before it smoothed out. They're like, "Hey, this isn't going to be perfect. This is also going to be something that like I'm probably never going to use more than once or twice, because like I don't care about seeing my friend's face while we're playing a game together." But
and
I know
think
there are people that
I think
are
if
into
you
that.
do though, you're bringing them to your house for drinks and food and games. Like in your situation, like you've done those, you know, those monthly or quarterly like game nights where you bring a bunch of buddies over, or you know, friends over. You have drinking, you know, you and you just hang out for the evening, and you might have 2 Switches going in the same room, or you know, or you're just handing stuff off. And I don't see, like, for me, like I could possibly see like a great addition to you know, like in my situation with my son, my oldest son, and my grandchild, like, you know, far, like 6 or 7 hours away, to where like, we could play Mario Party together, and like every once in a while they could be like, here's Parker, like, look at him, you know, like, and that would be kind of cool, like while we're playing the game. But in terms of like, I can accomplish that with a FaceTime call also. So, you know, like, we've all seen people that like stick their iPads up and play Mario Kart against each other already. Like they were already doing they had already become comfortable doing their other things to do this. And so this integration, I don't see, because I have no tangible desire to even to your point, if I have like 3 or 4 friends that I'm playing with online, I'm not putting their screens at the bottom of my screen. I'm going full screen. I want it as big as I can get it.
Yeah, exactly.
So the camera is sold separately, can insert you into the game and key you out for the game chat rooms. Okay, like
on their website, they did say you can use a third-party camera. It just might not have all the features, so it probably won't be able to key you out potentially. So they did say on their website you can plug in another USB.
Do we know how much the camera costs?
No, I don't believe so.
Okay.
I didn't see it up on the pre-order website.
I don't see a tangible reason to have this camera right now for me.
No. But it's one of those things where it's a perfect accessory. As someone who worked in retail for video game launches, you put next to the console, and then someone's like, I want to get everything for the Switch. And then they're like, hey, here's a camera. I'm hoping it's just in the $60 to $75 range. We'll see.
Wow, you're
it doesn't
higher
look
than
fancy.
I would go.
Well, no, I'm adding inflation on top of that.
So this is super interesting. Like, this is also, and I'm going to get to this too. So players can share games locally across 2 Switches, so they don't need to share Joy-Cons or play one copy of a game. Works across all Switches. They were showing potentially like you could have like 3 other people play Mario Party with you.
Yeah, all on their Switches.
With only one person owning the game.
Yes.
So I think that's a kind of a cool feature, and I also think it has a factor into the cost of the games.
Maybe,
a little bit of a factor.
I can see that. Yeah,
So,
and this is something that they did on the DS. This is a feature that's been around forever, so seeing it come to the Switch. I think what's also cool is it works across all Switch platforms. So
as long as the game is supported on Switch 1.
Yeah, but it also seems like you're just streaming the game over to the other one. So I think that's a really smart feature in order to like not have people feel left out. And then also, like I remember on the Wii U, you could play Smash Brothers, and if you didn't have enough controllers, but someone had a DS, they could use their DS as a controller. And this is the same thing of just like ran out of controllers, but you have a Switch Lite. Cool, bring your Switch Lite.
Yeah. So then they started talking about Nintendo Switch Online. Game chat is locked behind the Nintendo Switch Online paywall. However, it'll be essentially free from June 5th to I think they said March 31st of 2026. So almost a year. It'll work. And then so it's kind of let's gives them a chance to really kind of iron all the kinks out of it when it's live and there's multiple millions of consoles online at the same time or similar times. And then they can be like, we're working on it. We're not charging anybody for it yet. We're working on it. Sorry, hang on. So if it doesn't work, so that's an interesting kind of here's a little freebie. Here's a little biscuit for you. But at the same time, you're beta testing it for us. GameCube games are coming to Nintendo Switch Online for Switch 2 only. This is pretty cool for me. GameCube is one of my favorite consoles. They showed Wind Waker, which was kind of on my list of something that I wanted, a better looking Wind Waker. And this is not a remake, but this is a better looking version. It's supposed to run a little better. F-Zero, Chibi Robo, Pokemon, and then the GameCube controller, the purple GameCube controller coming in a wireless form is pretty interesting. Yeah,
the launch lineup for it, I think that was the launch lineup they showed. It looked like 10 games or something like that for the GameCube stuff. I think that was a pretty good lineup. As someone who likes physical games, Chibi Robo being included on there is great because that is like a $200 to $300 GameCube game used. So the fact that they're including that service is going to be hilarious just because I was on that Reddit and people were like, what the fuck? I have a copy of Chibi Robo. Is it going to drop in value? And it's
Johnny's a boy in chat, and I think he's using some crazy autocorrect because I don't know what the hell Game Shark is. I'm assuming I know what Game Shark is, by the way. Okay. I know what it is. Okay. I'm assuming that you're referring to Game Chat, and Game Chat will require the Nintendo Online connection after March of 2026.
Something like that,
yeah, something around March of 2026. So you get a decent amount of chunk of time free. But I think, to be honest with you, I think I'm already subscribed to this. I think it was like $20 for a year or $25 for a year. I don't remember how much it cost.
24, I believe. For
I think I have the family plan or something like that. Yeah. So, and the layers that they're adding to it with these announcements today, are just justifying the cost of it more. GameCube games for me work that's just an additional layer. The ability, I don't think sharing is a feature of the online, but there's another one that I'll get to later that I saw.
Yeah.
The first party Switch games getting updates for Switch 2. Some Switch 2 games are getting upgrade packs that can be purchased. The rumor is about $10 to $15 from what I saw on Twitter today.
So the speculation,
Yeah, these games include The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild, The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom, Mario Party Jamboree, Kirby and the Forgotten Lands, Metroid Prime Beyond, and Pokemon Z to A. Upgrades are better frame rate, resolution, HDR support, and in the case of Mario Party, new modes and games. I understand this, and I don't like it at the same time.
Especially for Zelda. I think it's more egregious.
Yeah, so first of all, Breath of the Wild's old. Like, just give it to him. But it's also Zelda, and they are kind of giving it to them. I don't know if you have this in your notes, and if I'm jumping ahead, correct me if I'm wrong. If you have the Nintendo Online package, you get both Zelda upgrades included.
Oh, so I didn't see that in the thing.
Well, I watched a specific trailer about Zelda: Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, and so that comes. So again, like I said before, so now for me, GameCube and my 9-year-old, 10-year-old that was like freaking drooling over the television today when he saw like Zelda notes and all that stuff and like the app on your phone, and you can like
and that's
share
with the expansion
items and
pass.
amiibo. Yeah,
so you'll have to upgrade most likely because you probably don't have the expansion pass.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. If I'm going to spend $30 total on Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, if they cost $15 for the expansion pack, it's a brain dead purchase to just get the online thing. And he's never played Wind Waker. I enjoy Wind Waker is probably my favorite one.
So in addition to like the Zelda news, there are prices for like the Switch 2 version of Zelda. Breath of the Wild is going to be $70. Tears of the Kingdom is going to be $80. Mario Party Jamboree is going to be $80. And Kirby.
But what do the upgrades cost though? We don't know yet, right?
We don't know. Yeah, this is just the cost of the Switch 2 version of those games. That's where people are getting like the $15, $20 thing from, is because they're like, okay, what is the MSRP for the game originally? And then what is the MSRP for the Switch 2 version?
I feel like at this point in time, if you know this, and this probably is already happening, but like go buy a used copy of Breath of the Wild for like $25 and then buy the digital expansion upgrade if you can do that. Like, I don't even know. Like, there's a couple things you can do that you can, to offset this a little bit. But
let's jump into go on.
Besides you, like for me, I'm like, okay, like if these digital games are cheaper on the Switch, which it looks like the rumors on the Switch 2, which like the rumors are going to be, like that's just even another no-brainer for me because Owen's already lost a cartridge. So
like I don't have Breath of the Wild on the Switch. I will probably just buy it on Switch 1 and then pay for the upgrade, or I might get expansion pass like you said and do it that way. But it's a good program what they're doing. I think they are kind of overpricing a lot of their stuff right now. We'll talk about pricing in a little bit again when it comes to individual games. But the upgrades seem cool, just overpriced in terms of what you're getting in terms of like the Zelda games. The Kirby and Mario, or Mario Party, at least you're getting new stuff, new content, as opposed to just like quality of life enhancements.
So I'm going to let you handle the third party notes now. So this is a little bit more your wheelhouse. First party is a little bit more my wheelhouse. So
all right. So third party stuff. There was a few montages. The biggest third party announcement from this is From Software is making a new game called Dusk Blood, and it is going to be exclusive to the Switch 2 in 2026. This immediately when you saw it, a lot of Sarah was watching the stream with me, and immediately we knew, wait, is this Bloodborne 2? Like, what is this? And it immediately, they have that visual. It's like, okay, we know what a From Software game looks like. So Dusk Blood looks like it's basically a spiritual successor to Bloodborne. This game looks fantastic. And the fact that Nintendo was able to lock down exclusivity, it might be timed, most likely timed, but just the fact that they were able to lock down exclusivity from Software is huge.
In a time frame where we believe Sony is trying to purchase them.
That's a little caveat.
Or Sony is trying to heavily invest into them.
Yeah. And this is a system seller. This is the type of thing, once the hype dies down, because the system's going to sell well during summer and the holidays because it's Nintendo. But going into next year,
this is a 2026 hardware mover. So.
Yeah. This is that second wave that they're going to need.
Third, but they'll get the launch, they'll get the holiday, and then they'll get the spring.
Yeah, especially after like all the Grand Theft Auto hype dies down a little bit. Like this could be the next thing that moves, and the game looks great. I did notice even Nintendo was a little too honest in some parts where I did see frame rate issues and stuff like that, some chugging in some of the trailers.
Maybe it's
I appreciate
development.
Yeah, but I appreciate that they're not faking a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
But Duskblood looks fantastic. We're going to get a new Hyrule Warriors game, Age of Imprisonment, coming this winter from Koei Tecmo. They showed Hades 2, Silksong, sure.
Which
Final Fantasy
like,
7.
Soft release that like, oh, it's still coming? Okay.
Yeah. Final Fantasy 7 Intergrade, Borderlands 4, Tony Hawk 3+4 with some SpongeBob DLC or some SpongeBob levels. Star Wars Outlaws and more are coming in the future. Here's what you're going to be interested in. On launch day, we're going to get Street Fighter 6, Split Fiction, Cyberpunk 2077, Hogwarts Legacy, Civilization 7, Bravely Default Remaster, Yakuza 0, Director's Cut, Fortnite, and Hitman World of Assassination. So those are the third-party games that will be there on launch. And it's not bad knowing that we were going to get ports anyways. Like, I think we all knew we were going to get ports at launch.
And they did a James Bond 007 tease from IOI.
Yeah, for the future, So I think this is a good launch lineup, especially for June launch, like when there's not a lot of stuff releasing.
Let's be real. Like, there is probably a significant chunk, I don't know the exact number, I'm not even going to speculate, but there's a significant chunk of players that only own a Switch.
Yeah.
And so these games typically aren't on Switch. They're just not. And there was a lot of things today. I'm like, oh, okay. Like, what is this hardware? Like, I can't wait for Digital Foundry to kind of do some stuff. And then, like, what's going on in here? It's not that much bigger. It's bigger, but it's not that much bigger. You know, like, so there's some extensive, really, really good stuff in here. Like, I'm actually surprised. Like, you have Cyberpunk in here?
Yeah, Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah, I see it now. Yep.
Yeah.
Like, granted, it's old now. It's pretty old, but we've seen CD Projekt Red do well. Yeah, we've seen them do well with Witcher on the Switch. So Witcher 3, I believe. So
and The Witcher was well because they had to make a ton of different cuts to get it to run.
Yeah.
So just to see Cyberpunk on there, I want to know what cuts they're going to have to make because it took a long time to get that running on a PS4 Pro, and we got hardware.
And they're talking about Elden Ring running.
Elden Ring eventually. So, I don't believe that's on launch, but Elden Ring is huge. That also was one of those games. I saw that frame rate look choppy as hell for a cutscene, but you know what? They could have faked it. They didn't. So I don't think we can say Nintendo was very specific on what they chose not to say. Because there was, like, after the stream, you know, just immediately, like, how much is it? What's this detail? What's that detail? But the stuff they did show, they didn't do any sleight of hand stuff or any, like, trickery. It looked pretty honest with what to expect.
And go ahead.
No. And then just the fact that, like, multiplayer game-wise, like, Fortnite had to be there as a guarantee. They did talk about, like, the NBA games, the wrestling games are coming as well.
WWE.
Fortnite is going to do...
Madden.
Yeah, Madden. No college football talk, but it's too early to talk about college football.
The soccer, FC or whatever.
Yeah, football club. So Fortnite is going to be, I guess, the multiplayer game for day one outside of Mario Kart. Yeah. But that's not too bad. I would hope they would have had some other multiplayer games to kind of show off a little bit of the game chat stuff, but it's Nintendo, so we can't expect too much.
Yeah, but like what though? Like, I mean, they're not going to put COD on there, so
they could have though.
I know, but Nintendo won't.
Off cycle.
I'm actually surprised Borderlands, to be honest.
Well, no, I don't think Nintendo cares. I also think it's just like, if the devs want to do it. It is also off cycle, releasing a Call of Duty in the middle of the summer when Call of Duty will be out in October, November. Right. Probably doesn't work for them. But I feel like there's some multiplayer, like some free-to-play multiplayer games that could have jumped in during this launch to be ready, and they didn't get that. No, I didn't see Rocket League or anything like that.
Yeah.
I know it's on Switch 1, but a Switch 2 Rocket League would have been cool and probably easy to do for Epic Games.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, then we have first-party stuff. So there's only basically 3 like real first-party stuff shown. We got Mario Kart World launching for $79. It's an open-ish world Mario Kart. So I saw comparisons like Burnout Paradise. It's just like you're going from race to race when you're on a circuit. So you're driving around. You can go off-road and kind of explore. They're showing like picture mode just to kind of hang out. And this does seem like a bigger Mario Kart, not as big as what Mario Kart 8 eventually became, but it is a different take on Mario Kart. What do you feel about Mario Kart?
I'm okay with it. Like, the price point makes me nervous, but at the same time, I think I talked about this a little bit with somebody on Twitter today. Like, if it's not going to have expansion passes to it, it's not going to have track expansions, and it's like, hey, you spend $80 and this is what you get and this is what we're doing with it. I'm okay. If it's $80 plus, more carts later for DLC and more tracks later for DLC, that's a little concerning. But then at the same time, at its core, this is Nintendo being Nintendo. Like, okay, you can buy the Switch for $450 and buy Mario Kart World for $80, or you can just buy the bundle for $500.
Yeah, the only thing I can see about the price, like, also it looks like some regions the physical copy of this will be $90 in the US. According to Walmart, it is just going to be a $80 game, even physically. It's still a smaller game in technically compared to what Mario Kart 8 Deluxe became, but that also got an expansion pass with 48 additional tracks. So I have a feeling this is going to have to do a crazy amount of cool things to pull people away from Mario Kart 8, because this is going to be a slightly smaller experience if you have the expansion passes for Mario Kart 8. So like this will be interesting to see, like, two Mario Kart games running on the same platform that are basically competing against each other, because Mario Kart 8 is, like, I think that's the best selling game on the Switch 1, so we know it's going to be compatible with Switch 2, so a lot of people are invested in that. There's a shit ton of courses in Mario Kart 8, so there's a lot that World has to, like, live up to, and we'll see how it's going to go. The price point is crazy, and I feel like they did that because they want to push that $500 bundle, because if you're going to buy the Switch for $50 more, you can get this $80 game.
Yeah, I mean, that's the version I'm going to go after. So
yeah, same. I'm going to go after that one for the hell of it, because I do want to play. I want to get a Nintendo game on launch for the new console, and that's going to be the only, like, new first party game on launch.
Yeah.
So I will be going for that one. We also got, I'm going to reverse these, Kirby Air Riders in 2025 coming from Sakurai. So, like, the Kirby guy, the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate guy. So he's coming back to game development and doing Kirby Air Riders. Another kart racer. Okay. I think this was originally like a GameCube game, so I don't know if it's just like a full remaster or sequel. So we got that. And then also, I think what stole the show, the biggest game outside of the From Software one.
Well, hang on. Are you disappointed that Sakurai is not doing anything with Smash right now? Or did you expect it because he kind of said, I'm done?
So I expected it because he said he's done, even though I know he's not done.
Yeah.
I just think it's the same problem with Mario Kart. So Mario Kart had like 75 plus tracks, 90 tracks.
And now you're starting over again.
And then when you have Smash Bros. Ultimate, that has 72 plus characters. I forget where the expansion ended up bringing that final number to, because there was multiple expansions to that game. I don't know what you do with Smash Bros. Ultimate. It literally was the ultimate version of the game. They lived up to that name. I don't know what you do. Give them more time to do Smash Bros.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you think that this is them kind of throwing Sakurai a bone and saying, okay, we understand that you're annoyed with Smash right now and you want to move on from Smash, so what do you want to do? And he says this, and they're like, okay, you can do that if after that you do Smash.
I can see that. They could have just been like, what do you want to do with Kirby? And it's just like...
And we all know an OLED version of the Switch is coming.
Eventually, yeah.
Yeah, so what are you going to launch with an OLED version? Super Smash.
Or Zelda. Like proper new Zelda. So yeah, no, I think Kirby Air Raiders, it's weird having to, like, kart racers shown in one thing, and both of them are going to be out this year. But it's something different, something new-ish kind of for Kirby to do on the platform. So I'm okay with it. I'm not too sure if you're really going to want two kart racers yourself, though.
Yeah, I mean, Owen seemed excited about it, and that's kind of like my barometer of maybe who they're going after. Maybe Mario Kart's a little bit too competitive for the younger crowd, and maybe this will be a little bit more fun for the younger crowd. Like, I don't know. I'm speculating, but I would say Sakurai's the more competitive one than the Mario Kart developers.
Yeah.
But then go ahead with this last game.
Yeah, the thing that stole the show, Donkey Kong Bonanza. So this is coming July 17th, so a month after launch. This is like, there's so many different games that this basically was in. Like, smashed together. But yeah, Donkey Kong looks like completely like destructible environments. Just looked fun as hell. Open world, from what I can tell. This looked like a really fun game. This was like the perfect way to end the direct. You know, everyone was expecting a Mario game. I'm surprised we didn't get like a proper 3D Mario game, but like
Agreed.
giving us Donkey Kong, I'm fine with that. What did you think of Donkey Kong Bonanza?
Yeah, I mean, I love Donkey Kong. I saw some throwbacks to Donkey Kong Country, some of the side-scrolling stuff in there, to your point. The destructibility, the exploration, it looks just flat out fun.
Yeah, it looked like Donkey Kong mixed with Red Faction Guerrilla, mixed with Minecraft, mixed with Knack, just because of all the bits and destructibility coming out. This looked really cool, and the fact that it's coming a month after launch is really cool. I also feel like this is one of those things where they're like, let's just knock it out early. Like, the game's done, we're ready to go.
And this one's $70.
Yeah.
So this is kind of why I start to believe that there might be a couple more things planned for Mario Kart World. I think they're doing their own direct for it, right?
They are. I believe that's
in like 2 weeks 17th, or something. Yeah. Something like so that. I think that there's going to be more. Like, they're going to have to talk about potentially why this is a $80 to $90 game. Like, and maybe hopefully they answer those questions correctly. Versus, obviously, Donkey Kong Bonanza is going to be smaller scale than Mario Kart Worlds. Now, I understand that I'm comparing two completely different things, but I think Nintendo, for the most part, has usually done a pretty good job of setting their price points to expectations well.
Yeah, there has to be something more going on with Mario Kart World. Yeah. But this looked cool, and again, I think it might be the Grand Theft Auto in the room in terms of like, this should have been a perfect holiday game, and they're like, let's just get it out in the summer. It's done. It's ready to go, and we'll just ride third party support at the end of the year,
right?
As opposed to like putting out a first party game to get lost in the shuffle. So seemed pretty smart for them to do that. But overall, Dave, Nintendo Direct, the Switch 2 proper reveal. What did you think? What would you?
I mean, you didn't really delve into it too much. I kind of liked how they talked about the software, like the hardware, and kind of like that little game. Like, that's dumb. I'm not going to buy it, but it was still kind of an interesting concept.
Okay, so I didn't include that because it's stupid. They're charging for that.
Yeah, I agree.
That is wild that they're charging for that, and we don't know the price.
Yeah, the integration of that into like how they were explaining like what's better about the Switch 2 compared to Switch 1, I think was really good. I think they did a very good job of that. Sure, like the C button was like, okay, we've had that for 10 years almost on other consoles. But not on Nintendo. So like the fact that they're kind of embracing some of that social aspect of it is I guess is cool, but it's also something I didn't expect at all. So sure, like, cool, good job. Personally, I am disappointed that there wasn't really any, like, even a Zelda remake, announced or anything like that, whether that's like Twilight Princess or a proper remake for Wind Waker or, anything like that. That disappointed me a little bit. And then the lack of a Mario functionality, like, disappointing, but they might be waiting for the holidays for that. Get the software out, get Donkey Kong out, get Mario Kart World out, and then, like, hey, here's Odyssey 2. And they revealed so much stuff on April 2nd that's coming June 5th. Like, and the fact that we didn't hear about any of this stuff. Like, there wasn't rumblings about Cyberpunk running on Switch 2. There wasn't rumblings about a From Software exclusive, not timed, a From Software exclusive on a Switch. Those things, and that they kept them closed and kept them under wraps. Like, I just very impressed with that. I desperately think that Nintendo needs to have some non-Japanese people presenting.
I appreciate, though, the way they handle it in terms of like, hey, we want to actually show the people that worked on it. So I don't mind that aspect of it.
I just, like, I had a tangible problem with that guy's sports coat. It was too big on him.
Oh, yeah, especially when they did the zoom down thing. He looked straight out of the 90s.
Like, yeah, it's just like, oh my gosh. Like,
he looked like Doug Funny in that music video.
Skeeter dressed up. So.
Yeah, no. I appreciate they do this, especially Nintendo was very much for so long of like, we don't talk about the people that make the game, so I don't mind that.
No, the developers themselves, the hosts. I guess I wasn't a fan of the hosts.
But I do like the fact that the hosts were the people that made the Switch 2. Like, I like that was
it's just a personal thing for me. I think that their marketing or their outreach could have been a little bit better. Like, that's all. Like, in terms of like long-term potential.
They were very stiff in their presentation with hand movements and all that. Looked kind of uncomfortable, but it was kind of endearing seeing that go. I think so I have mixed feelings about the whole thing overall. I think it was a really good presentation, but there was like a mad scramble for actual details after in terms of like pricing.
I was doing the same thing, refreshing Twitter.
Yeah.
How much? Yep. Is this over? How much?
Like just pricing details on like the card system, the cartridge system that they're going to use for it. All the different prices for games, because it was just like, oh no, it's going to be $80. No, it's going to be $90. Yeah. No, it's actually going to be $60 for this.
And to be fair, you've been talking about it for like a month. Nintendo's like, what are you talking about? We got a 60-day plan for you guys. Just chill out. Like, because they got Treehouse is coming, but
Treehouse
but
tomorrow.
I'm saying is then Nintendo at the board is like, yep, we're going to show it, and then we're going to do this next week, and we're going to do that in 2 weeks, we're going to do that in 3 weeks, and the internet's like, now. Tell me now.
and it was probably a good move not to put the price for the system and the games in the presentation, because it would have ruined like people's experience of the presentation. Yeah. People found out after the fact, had time to decompress a little bit. People are, saying they're not buying it, but it's Nintendo. They're going to buy it.
Yeah. To your point, if they would have started with June 5th, $450, people would be like, click off. They would have turned it off.
Fuck off. I'm just going to complain about it now.
Yep. And now they saw they saw all the stuff, and I was like, wow, it's going to do that. Like I was refreshing Twitter at work. Wow, really? Oh, Madden too? Like stuff. I'm like, that's cool. Oh, it can do Cyberpunk. Oh, that's cool. Oh, like a Donkey Kong. Wow. Okay. GameCube stuff. Interesting. Okay. Wow. All this other stuff. Like, okay. How much
as opposed to, like you said, starting with the price.
I'm like $450. I'm like, okay. I don't love it, but I don't love it, but I understand it.
Yeah. And then at least letting people ahead of time know, like, hey, pre-orders are launching next week, so people have time to prepare for that, figure out their battle strategy for fighting all the retailers.
I think you need a registration link anyways, from what I saw.
From Nintendo directly. Best Buy's already put up their splash page where you can get notified when they go up. Walmart, I believe, has notification pages up already. Amazon hasn't really said anything. So at least we know. Best Buy said they're doing midnight launches for the Switch 2. So it seems like the partnerships are all set and ready to go. And they could do this because, again, Nintendo had a plan. They had a plan for everything. And that, I think, is going to be important.
And I think a lot more questions are going to be answered before the 9th.
Yeah. We have 2 tree houses. They said the 3rd and 4th for tree houses. And then, they've already put out like a dozen press releases covering everything that they were talking about. So we have that information like ready to go, when the time comes. Like I'm already on like 3 mailing lists. I'm on Walmart's, I'm on Best Buy's, and I signed up for the Nintendo mailing list for like notifications when the stuff comes up. I'm aiming for the Mario Kart bundle. And if I don't get that, whatever, I'm going to just get the regular edition. So I'm excited enough for that. I'm not excited for the prices of video games. Nintendo dipping into $80 is like very scary for me.
Rockstar's like, yes, thank you. Appreciate it.
No, I think I put that in the Discord. I'm like, Rockstar's like, thank you. $100, no one's going to bat an eyelash. If you're going to charge that much for Mario Kart, fuck it. We can charge $100 for Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
And EA is probably also like, thank God. Activision is like, hell yeah. Like all these companies are like, we're waiting for someone to make that move, and Nintendo is the only one that can make that move and get away with it.
Yep.
Because you're not going to deny Nintendo.
I just think we're going to, in a weird place, man. We're just going to be in a weird place. We're going to have $100 video games. We're going to have $30 video games, $40 video games. Like, there's going to be so much in between. And I just think we're going to be in even more of a higher demographic of what a $60 game encompasses, what an $80 game encompasses, what a $100 game encompasses. So I think it's just in a very weird, we're in a very, very weird place at this moment. So,
yeah. But that wasn't the only like Nintendo stuff. We did get last week a Switch 1 specific direct. And this, I condensed this down to just the stuff that me and Dave might be interested in. It was actually I was expecting, because I think it was only like a half hour. I think
I messaged you. You're like, yeah, no big deal. They're getting some shit out of the way before the 2.
Yeah.
and then later you messaged me. And you're like, damn, that was a lot in there.
The Switch 1 Direct from last week was a really good, feel-good Direct. Let's give the swan song for the Switch 1. So here's the stuff that I thought was interesting. Dragon Quest 1 and 2 Remaster coming in 2025. We already knew this was coming, but this is the first time I think we got a trailer, because Dragon Quest 3 had just come out earlier this year, I want to say, and they were doing them out of order because it's prequel, sequel sort of thing. We got Patapon 1 and 2 from Bandai Namco, licensed from PlayStation, and then Everybody Golf's Hot Shots from Bandai Namco, developed by Bandai Namco, licensed from PlayStation. Dave, I am so happy to get Patapon on a portable console again.
Yeah.
Everybody Golf's, it's been a while, I feel, because there was a VR game last time. I had to look up to see if licenses expired or if Sony didn't actually own the rights anymore, but they are licensing through Bandai Namco of
okay,
do something.
Cool, awesome, great. Why the fuck isn't it on PlayStation 2 then? Also, sorry, not PlayStation.
They are coming to PlayStation. I mean, Patapon 1 and 2 have already been out on PlayStation.
Okay.
And they did announce
but like a long time ago, right?
Yeah, last year I want to say, maybe.
So are they
a year and a half
okay?
ago.
Yeah, okay. So these are newer versions.
Yes, yeah, and they're just going to get bundled on the Switch.
Everybody Golf's
Hot Shots is a new game coming to PlayStation as well.
Okay.
So Bandai Namco is releasing it on PlayStation. They put it on a PlayStation blog, I think, shortly after the Switch event. But Dave, this is a thing that we've been talking about. PlayStation is sitting on so many fucking IPs. Mm-hmm. So I'm kind of excited for the prospect of a third party being can we use your IP? And Sony being go for it. Knock yourself out. Put it on whatever platform you want.
As long as you put it on our platform.
No, yeah, put it on. That's a given.
Yeah,
but it's if you want to develop a game for this, we will take the free money. That this produces. And Bandai Namco, they already work with Nintendo a lot. They handle a lot of Nintendo's games that people don't even realize.
It's just the optics lately. It's just so weird. I guess that I just want to see these negotiations. Okay, you have to do this. Okay, well, but then you have to give me this. Okay, but we get to announce it on Nintendo's platform, and Sony's like, what? Is it
but it probably shows you that PlayStation just kind of doesn't give a shit about some of these IPs. And they're just let's just surprise people with this. So, I agree, this should have been on whenever the last PlayStation State of Play was. Or the next one that we imagine we'll get sometime in the summer.
And then Nintendo going, hey, it's on our stuff too. It'll be over here too.
Yeah. But this was a good, holy shit moment, because I was just damn, did they not own this anymore? And then I looked into it. It's no, PlayStation still owns this. They're just letting third parties do it. And I hope other companies see this and go, let's ask PlayStation about some of this stuff, and let's see if we can get sequels made, remasters.
Let's give them an envelope of cash. See if they'll give us Resistance.
Yeah, no, and People Can Fly last week said hey, we're working on a new entry in a franchise. So PlayStation kind of opening up a little bit post Jim Ryan is actually kind of cool. Never thought I would see Patapon 1 and 2, Everybody Golf's coming to the Switch. Also, it being announced on the Nintendo stream at all.
It's just like it felt when I put MLB The Show in my Switch and the Sony Studios logo shows up on my Switch. You're like, something feels wrong here. But
it feels wrong, but damn does it feel it's so damn cool.
Yep.
That we're seeing Xbox games on PlayStation games on Nintendo. I don't know. I like it. We'll see where that goes. And if Bandai Namco does well on this, maybe they can get some of the more beloved franchises. Maybe they can get a Legend of Dragoon. Maybe they can get a Siphon Filter or something. So it's a good start. We're getting another Rhythm Heaven Groove in 2026 for the Switch 1. I think it is interesting. A lot of these games announced are coming next year for the Switch 1. So I want to know how they're going to continue support for the Switch 1 going into the next, couple years.
I just think you're going to see a lot of stuff that's going to run on both, and then you're going to, potentially with an expansion thing, or just you put it in the Switch 2 and it just runs better.
Yeah, they're probably going to do that to bait people a lot of hey, we released this on a Switch 1. Actually, here's a new thing, but you need the Switch 2 to actually play it.
And I want to circle back to that really quick because the thought just crossed my mind. So Nintendo, when they switched from GameCube to Wii with Twilight Princess, charged 2 different SKUs full price for Twilight Princess. And now they are offering the upgrade. Like this upgrade was never a thing in Nintendo's world. Old Nintendo would have been like, sure, just pay $60, pay $80 twice. We don't care. Like, you're going to do it anyways. So them doing this, they could have done it. Like, let's be real. Like, everybody complained about the Skyward Sword remake. It MPD'd in the top 10 last year, whenever it came out 2 years ago. I honestly think if they would have shown Zelda notes and said, okay, new Breath of the Wild, functionality for Switch 2, $70, people are like, okay. And they would have just done it.
It's weird. We'll talk about it in like 2 bullet points. But what Nintendo seems to be doing is they're embracing the digital world in ways I wasn't expecting them to.
Not in Nintendo ways. Nintendo's still going to Nintendo, but now they're bending a little bit. And you're like, wait a minute. You've been a straight and arrow for so long. Yeah. Like,
and when you do change, it's usually very weird and very inconvenient, but they're doing things that are very convenient for the players.
There's no flag on the Switch 2 cartridge.
They're not like purposely doing that. It
just won't work in the Switch 1. It just be like, no, can't read. But they're not doing the, hey, this won't, no habla English.
They're doing a lot of things that I think are really cool that digital should have had already, and they're finding ways to embrace digital in new ways, doing things Nintendo like by trying stuff that the other companies wouldn't dare to try. But not in the uncomfortable, annoying way that Nintendo's usually been doing things. So then we also got Marvel Cosmic Invasion from .emu/Tribute Games coming in 2025. Side-scrolling, beat 'em up from Marvel. And
.emu's moving up that list of they're going to be must-buy for me, no matter what they make.
Yeah, just keep pumping out established IPs in
give me
this
something
format.
every 10 months. Whether it's Ninja Turtles, Marvel, I don't care.
And also, so I think it's going to be 16 different characters. Some of the characters they showed are one specific character was pretty obscure, but you have Captain America, Spider-Man, Venom, Wolverine, Storm, Quasar, who is the Miss Marvel looking character. Or Captain Marvel game, and then Nova. So the fact that they're hey, here's the traditional MCU characters, and then here's some deeper cuts. This thing looks fantastic. It's coming out every platform, so I'll probably pick it up on multiple platforms. But this was for the Switch 1 Direct. That was my favorite thing that I saw on it. And you're right. .emu has kind of brought themselves up to that level of just if I see their logo, I'm immediately interested in what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, not to derail this entire thing, but Shredder's Revenge, Streets of Rage 4, Ninja Gaiden, Metal Slug Tactics, Marvel Cosmic Invasion. This is all just recently, and then you go back to the little things, Windjammers, before
Windjammers 2, yeah,
it's just phenomenal. So
yeah, they're moving up there pretty quickly for me. Then we got the thing that probably the most people were excited for, and I forgot how much people fucking love this franchise, but Tamagotchi Life, Living the Dream, coming in 2026. I don't even know how to explain it. It's a weird borderline Animal Crossing game with different scenarios. My TikTok blew up with videos of the 3DS Tamagotchi Life. This is coming. People really love the franchise. Can't really explain it to Dave right now. And what this game even is.
I have a decent. I remember Tamagotchis. So I mean, I'm not. I think it's digital pets, right?
No. You're thinking of Tamagotchi.
Oh, okay.
Tamagotchi is the
Maybe
weird,
I don't then.
yeah. And there was a Tamagotchi announcement in the beginning of this Direct. And then they ended it with Tamagotchi.
Old man old. I'm confused.
Yeah, Tamagotchi is a Miiverse looking game.
I'm officially on blood pressure medication now, so I'm old.
Oh, Dave. But yeah, this is a Mii character life sim sort of game. People fucking love this franchise, and it's coming. And then finally, the thing I'll bring up is virtual game cards will allow you to move digital games between your Switch systems, Loading a virtual card can be inserted and ejected between your systems. This is the most Nintendo way for you to play your digital games on multiple systems you own. Okay, so you will load a game on a virtual memory card on your account, and then when you log in on your account on another Switch, you can then download that virtual card and put it on the system and switch between back and forth when you insert and eject virtually. Fucking stupid, but here's where it's cool. You can lend your virtual game cards out to friends and families that are in your Nintendo account family group, and they can play that game for up to 2 weeks. Their save file will remain after the game gets returned, and they could just re-borrow the game or just buy it themselves and continue their save.
So pretty much reborrowing means let's revalidate you still own this game on the original Switch, and then you can re-license it on your borrowed Switch. Yeah. This I also think has to do with Switch 2.
No, 100%. And this is this was
like your
afterwards.
First precursor to Switch 2 stuff. Like, what's going on here? Like,
yeah, and it's a virtual card. So all you're doing is like I'll send Dave like I guess a virtual code or whatever. If we're in a family plan, or like if it's in a family plan, it's probably just going to be in a menu setting. This feature is also live now, I believe. So then
when I update my online thing, we might need to attach DDG to this.
Yeah, no, and
for you and I. Like,
yeah, but this is one of those things where it is a feature that the first half is really dumb sounding because like a complicated thing that you have to do for the Switch. If you want to remove your games, you have to deactivate, reactivate. You can't have games on multiple things. This allows you to jump between systems. Silly workaround, but the idea that you can borrow stuff to your family in the family plan, they can have it for 2 weeks, and it sounds like there's no restrictions on re-borrowing.
Yeah, it's a struggle that Angela and I are having now because Owen has the Switch Lite, I have the Switch, or he has the Switch as well, and then moving stuff back and forth, or him playing a game, finding out like I don't have my stuff, and can constantly going back and forth where she's moving stuff right now because we're trying to balance that 2-console life. It is proving to be a little irritating, and now it potentially can be a 3-console life with Switch 2, Switch Lite, and Switch.
And just before anyone asks, I saw people asking, you can't play the game once you borrow it out to a friend. So, like, you can't, play your game still if you, like,
really? Okay.
Someone else a virtual card. So it's not like you can use this to,
so you're out for 14 days from playing.
Basically, yeah.
So it's literally like back in the day when, like, hey, you can take my copy of Donkey Kong and just bring it back next weekend.
Yeah, no, basically. And this is one of those things where, like, this is a really clever way to get people away from physical media. Because if you do want to pick up a game and you're like, you know what, Owen might want to play this in the future. Let me just buy it digitally. Yeah, I know you're already in a digital one, but say you're a physical collector and you had a family of like multiple people with Switches.
Well, I do. Probably, I mean, like I'm going to have a Switch 2. I mean, let's be real. Depending on what's going on with the Switch 2, like I've got an older daughter, I've got an older son that are both either married or about to be married. Yeah. So like there's a potential within my family plan. I could have 5 or 6 Switches.
Yeah. and this is one of those things
not including someone like you who's a close friend that we use it from a business standpoint, but also just we sometimes have similar interest in games. Like we're like after a month later, you're like, hey Dave, I'm done. Try it out. I really like it.
Especially like if you play a game and you're like, damn, that sounds fun. It's like, oh, I finished it, so I'm going to send you the virtual card, and then it's like cool, and I'm playing it that night. And then
you get a free 2-week trial, and if you decide that you want to buy it, and you get to transfer your stuff over. If not, hey, I'm almost done. Can I get it for 2 more weeks?
Yeah, and then you're like, cool, I'm done playing it. This is a really smart and clever way to get people to go digital over physical. This is stuff the other companies should steal because it just makes sense, because this will get me to not buy some games physically.
Yeah.
Because I'm just like, oh, you know what, people in my friends and family plan, this is worth doing. Like I'm now looking at the friends and family plan because my little sister plays a Switch and she's always looking for games. I have a ton of games I'm not touching. So this is one of those things where like I might buy some more games digitally and then to share it with her. And the family plan isn't that much more expensive than the regular plan.
No, it's like $5 more, $7 more, I think.
Something like that. Yeah. Unless you get the expansion, then it's like way more. But like either way, it's pretty reasonable. This was like a really clever way. I do want to test that out as soon as I can to mess with it. But yeah, fantastic way to say goodbye to the Switch. And we're not really saying goodbye to the Switch because these games are coming out in 2026.
kind of a Switch Pro.
It is. Yeah.
So we do have a question from Palmer. We're going to hold the question for next week. I think it's also going to give us some chance to see some other stuff as Switch 2 more reveals come out. So Palmer, we did get it out of the chat. We have it. We're going to hold on to it for next week. Also, because I have to go and Michael has to go.
Yeah.
We were trying to get this in as best as we could that fit for everybody. We knew we were going to wait. So. Again, please consider sharing this, whether you share it via YouTube, whether you share it via Twitch, social media. Yes, share review. Yes, we've done that before. Share review accounts. We've done that before. And you can be part of it too, Johnny, if you want to be.
No.
But yes, please share the show. Show it to other people. Just any kind of social media stuff. We are working on some other social media avenues. You guys are killing me in the chat right now while I'm trying to close. So other than that, please just check out the site, digitaldaysgaming.com. And I hope everyone has a great week and keep moving forward.
Don't be a dick. See ya.